Have you ever wondered what it's like to come face to face with a ghost? The town of Fall River seemed to wear its dark history like a shroud. The locals, with their knowing glances and hushed voices, added to the town's eerie atmosphere. Her name was Marge, an older woman with wisps of grey hair escaping from under her hat. She worked at the small inn where I had decided to spend the night before heading to the Borden House. "I've never seen one myself, but everyone around here has a story to tell," she added, her voice dropping to a whisper as if afraid the spirits might overhear. Marge recounted tales of guests fleeing in the middle of the night, pale and trembling, unable to bear the oppressive atmosphere any longer. Her warnings only fueled my curiosity, and as I settled into my room, an almost tangible sense of anticipation hung in the air. Lizzie Borden. Her name is synonymous with one of the most gruesome unsolved murders in American history. Accused of murdering her father and stepmother with an axe, Lizzie was acquitted, but the question of her guilt or innocence has lingered ever since. The Borden family home, now a bed and breakfast, has become a magnet for dark tourism, drawing those fascinated by its bloody past and the reported paranormal activity within its walls. Lizzie herself is a figure shrouded in mystery. Descriptions of her vary, but many agree she was a petite woman with sharp features, her eyes holding a cold, calculating glint. Those who knew her spoke of a quiet yet intense presence, a woman who could turn from charming to chilling in the blink of an eye. Her life after the trial was marked by isolation and suspicion, with many believing she had gotten away with murder. The townspeople of Fall River were divided, some viewing her as an innocent victim of circumstance, while others saw her as a cunning murderess who had slipped through the cracks of justice. The history of the Lizzie Borden house is as dark as it is infamous. On the morning of August 4th, 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were brutally murdered with an axe. The murders were shockingly violent, with both victims sustaining multiple blows to the head. Lizzie Borden, the younger daughter, was arrested and charged with the murders but was acquitted in a trial that captivated the nation. To this day, the true identity of the murderer remains a mystery. Andrew Borden was a wealthy, self-made man known for his frugality and stern demeanor. His face, often set in a grim expression, softened only occasionally for his daughters. Abby Borden, his second wife, was described as a robust woman with a kind face, though her relationship with her stepdaughters, Lizzie and Emma, was strained. Many believed that financial disputes and family tensions simmered beneath the surface, creating a cauldron of resentment and anger. Whispers of the house being haunted have circulated for decades. Guests often report hearing strange noises, footsteps, whispers, and the chilling sound of a woman weeping. Some have seen shadowy figures drifting through the halls or felt sudden drops in temperature. The spirits of Andrew and Abby Borden, it seems, are unable to find peace, forever trapped in the house where they met their violent end. As night fell, I decided to explore the house further. Armed with a flashlight and steeling myself for whatever I might encounter, I ventured into the darkened hallways. The silence was almost suffocating, broken only by the occasional creak of the old wooden floors. Each step felt like a journey into the unknown, the shadows seeming to close in around me. I found myself in the sitting room where Andrew Borden had been found. The room was eerily preserved with period furnishings that added to the sense of stepping back in time. Standing in the exact spot where his body had lain, I felt a sudden, inexplicable chill. It was as if his presence lingered, a cold and malevolent force watching from the shadows. The portrait of Andrew Borden on the wall seemed to follow me with its eyes, adding to the sensation of being scrutinized. Next, I climbed the stairs to the guest room where Abby Borden was murdered. The room was heavy with an atmosphere of dread. As I stepped inside, an overwhelming sense of sadness and fear washed over me. I could almost hear her screams, feel her terror. The air was thick with the weight of what had transpired there, making it hard to breathe. The bed, once a place of rest, now seemed like a stage for a nightmarish tableau, the quilt bearing the invisible stains of a horrific past. The hallway leading to the bedrooms was dimly lit, the flickering lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. As I walked down the corridor, I felt a sudden drop in temperature. My breath became visible in the cold air, and I shivered despite myself. The sound of soft, shuffling footsteps behind me made me spin around, but there was no one there. The house was playing tricks on me, or perhaps it was the spirits of the Bordens making their presence known. In the darkest hours of the night, the most terrifying encounter occurred. I had lain down, hoping for a few hours of sleep, but the house had other plans. A faint whispering started, growing louder and more distinct. It was the voice of a woman, pleading for help. My heart pounded as I sat up, straining to see in the dark. At the foot of the bed, a shadowy figure took shape. A woman, her features obscured, reached out to me. An icy chill enveloped me as I realized I was face to face with what could only be the spirit of Abby Borden. Frozen in fear, I watched as the apparition slowly faded into the darkness, the whispers dying away. The silence that followed was even more oppressive. Trembling, I wondered if my mind was playing tricks on me, or if I had truly encountered the ghost of Abby Borden. In the early morning hours, I heard another sound that sent chills down my spine, the distinct creak of floorboards under heavy footsteps. The sound moved steadily down the hallway, pausing just outside my door. My heart raced as I stared at the door, expecting it to open at any moment, but it never did. Instead, the footsteps continued down the hall, disappearing into the distance. I gathered my courage and decided to investigate. As I stepped into the hallway, the air grew colder and the oppressive feeling intensified. I followed the sound of the footsteps, which led me to the basement. The stairs creaked under my weight as I descended into the darkness. The basement was damp and musty, filled with old, forgotten items covered in dust. As I reached the bottom of the stairs, I saw a faint light emanating from the far corner of the room. It flickered like a candle flame, casting shadows on the walls. I approached cautiously, my flashlight revealing an old wooden chest. The light seemed to be coming from within. With trembling hands, I opened the chest, revealing a collection of old yellowed letters and photographs. The letters were written in a delicate, feminine script, and as I read them, I realized they were love letters from Lizzie to an unknown recipient. The photographs showed a young Lizzie, smiling and carefree, a stark contrast to the cold, calculating woman she was often depicted as. Suddenly, the light flickered and went out, plunging the basement into darkness. I felt a cold hand on my shoulder and spun around, but there was no one there. The oppressive feeling was overwhelming, and I felt an urgent need to leave the basement. As I climbed the stairs, I heard a soft whisper in my ear. "Get out!" I rushed back to my room, my heart pounding in my chest. The house was alive with the spirits of the past, and I had no doubt that they were aware of my presence. I tried to sleep, but the oppressive atmosphere and the lingering sense of dread made it impossible. As dawn broke, bathing the house in a cold, pale light, the sense of unease lingered. The Lizzie Borden House is not just a relic of a grisly past, it is a place where the spirits of the murdered remain, trapped in a cycle of torment and unrest. Visitors often leave with stories of ghostly encounters, eerie sensations, and an overwhelming sense of dread. The house is a gateway to a dark chapter in history, where the lines between the living and the dead blur and the past refuses to be forgotten. If you have the courage to face the unknown and the desire to uncover the secrets of the past, the Lizzie Borden House awaits. But beware, the spirits of Lizzie's parents are restless, and they may not welcome your intrusion. If you enjoyed this chilling tale and crave more haunted adventures, be sure to check out our other videos. Share your own spooky experiences in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spine-tingling content. The world is full of dark and mysterious places, and we're here to explore them all with you. Until next time, sleep tight if you can.